everyone, welcome to what I hope will be the first of our Layfamilyyarn Diaries. Yeah, starting to do a little video podcast diary, mostly because I'm useless at Ravelry and I never put my finished projects on there. Also with Instagram I'm notoriously not very good at posting my knitting, so I thought it would be nice to come and have a sit with you and talk about what Nick and I have been knitting. Both Nick and I knit with 99% of the time with our yarn, so if that's not for you, then thank you for checking us out, and you know there's plenty of other podcasts out there that you'll find to enjoy. I've got Geoff with me, got my little mate, always with me, always by my side. He's getting quite good now at sitting with me while I'm knitting, so I hope he'll sit here with me while I show you some of our projects. So Nick's been knitting as well, and I'm going to show you some of his. I'm not sure I'll ever get him on camera talking to himself and showing you, but he's my producer. He just press the start and stop button. So yeah, first thing I've been knitting on is I don't know if this is going to work with Geoff. Should we pop you down? You go down a minute, mate. Good boy. Is the Persephone's mittens from the Knits About Winter by Emily Foden. I saw this on Instagram. Deb Tink Hickman showed them and I just fell in love with the pattern, so I bought the book mostly for that pattern, but actually there's so many beautiful patterns in there. They're absolutely gorgeous, and I finished them. Here they are. There are two, but I'll just show you one. They're lovely, really pleased with them. They took me a while to get into the swing of knitting them, if I'm honest. Nothing wrong with the pattern at all, it's beautifully written and perfectly clear. But what it highlighted to me was that how limited my experience of knitting with a multitude of designers is. I tend to knit with same people. Hohi Locatelli, Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, Jules, Kay from Bakery Bears for my socks. So yeah, my knowledge of knitting patterns and styles of writing patterns is actually quite low. So I found these easy to knit, but the style of writing a bit of a challenge. That's not to say that it's challenging, I just found it a challenge. It is lovely written, and once I'd got sort of a couple of inches up the mitten, I was perfectly fine. It was almost memorised by then, it was fine. So they're finished and they're lovely. And Nick's just checking on Geoff. Has he got the treats out of my pocket? Yeah. Geoff's stolen the treats out of my pockets and he's now down here trying to get them out of the little pot. They say never work with children and animals, don't they? So yeah, they're my finished mittens. I haven't yet done the liners. I will do the liners, but for now actually they're really warm as they are. I don't really need to do anything more. I knit them in our silky yak base, and this is the natural colour, it's not dyed at all. They're lovely. Nick's swapping in treats for lunch. Well, that won, Nick won. So they're finished, I really enjoyed them. They say my challenges were not a reflection on the pattern at all, it's just really highlighted my limited knowledge of knitting with many designers, which is nice because I'm now going to look out of that comfort zone. Nick has been knitting the Snuggle is Real cowl. Here it is, fab. I wore it out on a walk the other day, it was so lovely but so warm, I had to take it off, it was far too warm. It's a great pattern again. Nick didn't enjoy it for a couple of reasons. For Nick to enjoy a project, his brain has to be really engaged, really challenged, and what's the word? Nothing mindless. He doesn't like just going round. For him to relax, his brain has to be engaged and challenged, which is the opposite to me. When I'm tired or I want to relax, I just want something, you know, I can just do a bit of stocking stitch and not have to think, whereas Nick's the opposite. So for Nick this was a bit of a challenge, a bit of a slog really. Now Nick's only knit the pattern this long. So was it about 10 inches, Nick?
Yeah.
It's about 10 inches in total. I think the pattern says to knit it for about 25 inches or so. So we've tried it on and decided to go a lot less. The inside is the Surrey alpaca, and again, it's not Nick's favourite yarn to knit with, but it is absolutely my favourite. So we're all different, aren't we? I wouldn't make Nick one for Nick with just normal double knit inside, which I've seen on Instagram a couple of times. Should I try it on? I'll try it on, but I don't want to take my hat off because my hair's a mess. So it's perfect for those really cold winter dog walks. You know, you can pull it right up and snuggle, or you can just get that, get it a bit further down slightly. But it's, see, for me, it's like the perfect size. I don't need a lot more slouch than that. But I can really snuggle in. It's absolutely beautiful to wear and so warm, so warm. We knit it in our, pardon? Sorry, put his treats up. We knit it in bruised peach and chestnuts roasting for the main colour, and the fluff is peach keen. I love it. Nick makes everything as a shop sample, whereas I think everything he makes is for me, and this one will be. It's funny that, isn't it? If Nick's sitting knitting and he can call it work, he's fine. But if he sits and knits for no purpose, he feels guilty, like he should be working or he should be doing. So I let him call it a shop sample and then I just steal it. But yeah, this one's mine. I love it. There are only 2 finished things. That's it. Yeah, there are only 2 things we've finished recently. What am I working on? I've got a pair of socks on it. I haven't knit on socks for months and months and months. And I think it's just because Nick's so proficient on the sock machine. I don't really need to now, so I knit jumpers and things now, and shawls and whatnot. But I did start this pair of socks on holiday last year in June. And I'm at the toe. I mean, what's wrong with me? Why haven't I finished that sock? It just needs a toe, literally a toe. And what's worse, it's the second sock. So if I just knit a toe, I've got a new pair of socks. I mean, honestly, what's wrong with me? Look, they're all but finished. And they were started last June, so they need to get done. See, the trouble with doing this diary at work here and Nick in the background, he'll be shaking his head at me. I just finished things, because Nick is very much a one project chap. He won't start something until he's finished something, and here's me saying I just need a toe in my pair of socks, and I can feel him behind me shaking his head. Anyway, so that they will be finished. I will get them finished for if and when I do another diary, and then they'll be done. I have also cast on a jumper, which is quite a thing for me. I'm not typically, I ran away from doing garments, and I don't really know why. Partly just a mental block, you know, you tell yourself long enough you can't do something, you start to believe it, don't you? But I cast on the Humorless sweater last year by Isabel Kramer and made it for my mum for Christmas, and I loved making it, and mum loved the jumper, and actually there was nothing in it overly challenging. I really enjoyed it, so it gave me the confidence to do a few more. So I've started this one. Oh, that's blowing out a little bit. It's a bit more cream and red. Maybe that's a bit better. Cream and red. It's the one sweater by the Fibre Company, and I'm knitting it out of the Cornish Way colourway in both slub and floof. And this one really is about just getting lots of texture, playing with textures. I didn't use different colours because I just want the texture to be the focus, not the marring effect. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. And this is how we're getting on. I've split for the sleeves and I'm whizzing around the body. And this one's for me. First time I've ever knit a garment for myself. I think that's a whole body confidence thing, you know. I always tell myself when I lose weight, when I get to this, when I get to that, I'll do something. But you know, you've got to love the body you're in now, haven't you? So yeah, this is for me. and it's a top-down raglan sweater. I've really enjoyed the pattern. I've not found it difficult to understand or to read, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I'm not sure how far, well, I'm not far into the body look. I'm only 2 or 3 inches, so there's some way to go, but yeah, it's great. I really enjoy it. So that's that. If I'm enjoying it so much, you might then ask yourself, why did I cast on another jumper? Well, because I can. Simple as that really, because I can. And I dyed up some new colours, and that's the risk, you see, when you're a dyer and you love knitting with your own colours. You want to see them and play with them and see how they work, and that was the case for this. I dyed up some mini skeins, not in my usual palette that I wear, but I just loved them and I was desperate to cast them on. And then I saw the Grocery Girls latest episode, and Jodie was wearing a jumper, and that was it. I was gone. Went home and cast on that evening. And I'm knitting the Cosy Classic Raglan sweater by Jessie Maee Designs. And again, much like the one sweater, it's a top-down raglan. The pattern is fantastic. It's designed to be knit in 1 strand 4-ply fingering weight and 1 strand mohair. I don't like mohair, so I always substitute that for the Syria alpaca silk anyway. But with this one, I decided just to knit it in double knit. Again, to let the yarn sing rather than with the mohair or the fluff, it wouldn't work. Yeah, let me show you, and then I can, there we go. So I've used a pack of 10 mini skeins to do these stripes on the raglan. I worked out the math because I wanted my minis to finish where the body started. So I worked out the maths, how many increases I needed to do in the grey, which is our coal miner's daughter colourway, before I went into the colours, and then it finished at the end of the raglan increases finished at the end of the minis, and I could go onto the body in the grey. It's the grey. And this is the first ball I'm on now. I'm knitting the 1XL size, so it will be for Megan. She likes hers to be quite oversized and baggy. It looks really small there, but the needles are small. I was going to say something. I could have done this stripes on the one sweater pattern by the Fibre Company, because they're both just simple top-down raglan sweaters. So I could have put the stripes in that pattern and just used the pattern I had. The reason I bought another pattern to do is again partly about expanding that breadth and depth of knowledge of different designers and how different people write things. And I'm glad I did, because the Cosy Classic Raglan pattern is amazing. I mean, there's 12 pages, so if you're an experienced garment knitter, there may be a little bit too much information in there for you, but for me it was perfect. It holds your hand, it walks you through, and then I can pass on that knowledge to Nick and Megan, so it's been brilliant. A couple of other differences with the pattern is the increases on the Cosy Classic Raglan are much quicker. There's less knit rounds in between the increases, whereas on the one sweater, yeah, the raglans were much, I don't know what the right word is, but there was more knit rows in between each increase. So again, it will give me a different sense of fit and what works on whose body and proportions and things. Obviously this one's about 6 dress sizes smaller. This one's for Megan, and she's teeny tiny. So it's not a true comparison, but it will give me some idea of fit and form and how I like my jumpers to wear. Being new to knitting garments, I haven't sussed that out yet. So yeah, it's been really beneficial in that sense, seeing which style raglan I prefer, whether it's a quick increase or a bit shorter. And I guess time will tell. That's it. Nick has cast on the Whitmore sweater. by Ami Lowden, but he's literally just on the neck ribbing, so I haven't brought that to show you today. Hopefully next time I do this, I'll bring that then to show you some progress. He's again he's knitting it for his mum for Christmas, and I think Debbie, his mum, would have loved the alpaca, Surrey alpaca, the fluff, but Nick doesn't like knitting with it, so you know, as much as you want the product, you've got to enjoy the process, haven't you? So he's knitting it in alpaca cashmere silk, which is a really drapey, floaty yarn. Have I got one? Hang on, I'll get one. You can see just how drapey this yarn is. It's so soft, so floaty, which in itself I know is not necessarily ideal for a garment because alpaca notoriously stretches, but we've gone down. There's quite a lot of positive ease in the jumper, so we've Debbie's bust size is an in-between measurement, so we've gone to the smaller size, and on the length we'll probably knit it an inch or so less than ideal, and then with blocking that should give that allowance, I think. But with the Whitmore sweater, it's a really romantic flowing garment, and I think that this yarn would lend itself to that ethereal feel, and it's lovely. If nothing else, it's lovely. It's really soft, incredibly soft, and it'll make a lovely gift, won't it? So yeah, we've tried to calculate for those movements of yarn and the instability in the alpaca, but we'll see. You know, it's a learning curve, isn't it? If it doesn't work out, we'll just rip it back and use the yarn for another project. Neither Nick or I have got a problem in doing that, but we'll see. But this base is truly lovely. That's it, I think, for this time. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'm going to pop on a video at the end of one of my walks with Geoff. This is not in Ironbridge in the gorge this time, it's at our home where I go walking every morning at home. So I'll pop that in at the end, and also the inspiration photos for this month's Walkies Club, Mark's Walkies Club. It's called Stone Walls and Cherry Blossom, and the inspiration pictures at the end, they're going to get posted out this week, so I hope you like them. It's really lovely actually to do this club because I walk Geoff all the time anyway, every day, and it just makes you stop and look for things that are beautiful, especially in the winter. In the summer, when you start going around garden centres and you go off to places and you visit the seaside and you do all these other things, but in the winter you have to stop and find the beauty in your norm, don't you? And we do live in such a beautiful area. This morning I saw a tree creeper, a pheasant. We always see the horses. We heard woodpeckers, didn't see them. We heard tawny owls, and all the, you know, the everyday common garden birds are in abundance, but it was lovely to see a few different things. So yeah, that's it from me and Geoff and producer Nick. I hope to see you, I don't know, maybe once a month, every 3 weeks or so, we'll see if I've got anything to share knitting wise or anything else, but we'll see. We'll just see what goes, no pressure. Right, nice to see you all. Take care, stay safe and warm. Yeah, it's a precarious place, isn't it, in the world at the moment with coronavirus, and we're doing all we can here to do our bit and keep ourselves safe and well as everybody around us. And like everybody, we've upped our hand hygiene, and between every customer in the shop we're washing our hands. Yeah, just taking general precautions, wiping surfaces down more often, that sort of thing. But yeah, stay safe and well, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye.